chance will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GuMPer.
Hola. Oh, hold on a minute. Hola, bon dia, alegria. That's not meant to be there. Oh, spooky. The matrice. Oh, matrice was on the screen this morning. I haven't had a chance to adjust my hairs or my collar this morning. An unexpected evening last night. A dear friend of ours got a call from her to say she'd had a fall. So we went over to her house, and she was ably assisted ultimately by another mutual friend and the bomberos, the 112. So lots of love to her, that particular person. We do have some mutual friends here this morning, and we're doing obviously all we can. And it's in these situations, isn't it, where our community comes into its own, and we look after each other. To answer your question, just very briefly, sorry if this is a little bit nichey, but I think it's quite important as well. To answer your questions, B this morning, she's doing okay. Our mutual friend at the hospital said she was in for observation. This is in the Caldas area and may need an operation over in Torres Vedras. So that's something to bear in mind if you're moving to Portugal. Caldas is, the service to get our friend to the hospital was excellent. The bomberos arrived with the service being triggered on the 112 number. The service arrived immediately. They said, English, hello, good evening. And did their thing, got her out of quite a difficult position that she'd fallen in with some amazing equipment, got her onto the ambulance. What they need to know in those sort of situations is your medical card or ID, that sort of thing. So keep that handy, folks, in that unlikely and horrible eventuality. But to answer your questions, B, she's doing okay considering, and we'll be having a diagnosis analysis this morning, I suspect, and will be moved to another more specialist hospital. Torres Vedras, I believe, is where operations take place, coming from Caldas, originating at Caldas. She does have her phone with her, if you know who I'm talking about, and I want to keep her privacy, but she does have her phone with her. And I've not received any texts yet, but she does have her phone with her, so you may be able to get in touch. And the dog is fine. The dog is with me in the studio. He stayed with us last night, and he's here in the studio. What a lovely fella he is. So lots of love and fingers crossed to this particular lady. And of course, the community rallying round in this part of Portugal, as I'm sure we would in any part of Portugal, for one of our expat foreigner immigrant buddies who's in trouble. Sorry about the notifications coming through. My Portuguese computer is talking to me in Portuguese, some of which I don't understand, and the settings are a little bit of quite an area to go to. So I'm not going to attempt to sort that out right now. So please bear with. It's not your computer making those noises; it's mine, and it might be your Alexa and your Siri making the noises after yesterday. Your delivery has arrived. Did that work for anybody yesterday? Talking of all the fun of it. Wasn't it a great show yesterday? We'll say hello to you, Ian, to T-Duck, to James, to Baddy. Who else is here this morning? Deagle, how's it going, Deagle? John and Pam are tuned in. Wow, you're up late. Stephen and Anna. Anna, those pictures were lovely on Facebook. Francis is here and Victoria. Good morning to you all. We'll get back to you. And Bayrandi. What was your dad's name, by the way, Bayrandi? Wished him all the best on the show yesterday. Ended the show with that picture of your lovely party. What's your dad's name, by the way, so we can give him a proper shout out this morning. But we'll come back to all your lovely messages in just a little while. But yeah, what a fantastic show yesterday. Superb with Owen, the food alchemist, and our tour of Portuguese food and cakes, of course, and a little bit of a snifter of the aubergine yesterday morning. Really enjoyed that. And then Veronica popped in. She was enjoying the conversation I was having with various people's voice-activated IT systems. Which is not what they're actually called, is it? I don't think. But the Alexas and the Siris of the world, we were seeing if we could order things on people's behalf. If you want me to try that again this morning, just let me know. Mrs. M will be with us in just a minute as well. And Veronica was so excited yesterday and joined in and loved the fact that we were drinking early in the morning. We're her kind of show. She's joining us in a new residency this morning. I didn't mess about. I thought this woman's great. Let's get her on the show. So she will be joining us. What is it? The third Thursday? It is, isn't it? The third Thursday, Quinta-feira. And so as you can see on your screen on the left there, obviously, because that's Carl Hyde on the right. He's the Englishman in Lisbon who will be joining us to talk about rentals in the capital. He helps a lot of people with rentals as an independent real estate agent. Is he? We'll find out more. I don't know if that is the right description of him, but he's certainly a real estate agent, and he's in business and has started in business in Portugal. So here on Indie Thursday, that's very indie, isn't it? Starting out in business on your own. And we will talk to him about that and getting yourself a residency, an accommodation contract in the capital, which he helps a lot of people with. And of course, Veronica, look at that lovely, looks like a Christmas pie topped with red and green and stars and stripes icing. Veronica, the American in Portugal, will be with us at 9 o'clock this morning on this Indie Portugal Thursday. Indie message. Actually, I'll bring Mrs. M on because I'd like her to watch this video that Veronica has sent us with her ladies what lunch in VRSA yesterday. So let me just play it so she knows, so I don't just drop her onto the screen, which I don't think any lady likes, that sort of treatment. Let's ease her in gently with a little bit of video foreplay here.
Yeah, it's fair to say I don't always agree with Carl, but hey, this is a section about what he doesn't tell you. So let's have a look now, shall we?
Hola, bon dia, alegria.
Good morning. Who doesn't like to be eased in gently first thing in the morning? I'm
Absolutely.
so pleased that you took time and care for that. That's so nice.
Yeah, but it's not for me to say, but I would like to think I'm a gentleman first thing in the morning. And nobody talking of things that people do and don't like. And there's a book in this, isn't there? A book of two halves. You can read it from the front. Who doesn't like first thing in the morning, and then coming from the back of the book, who doesn't like first thing in the morning? To come from the back. And talking of which, awkward positions.
Who doesn't like to come from the back?
Oh, stop it! You've only been in less than a minute. Hola.
I hope everyone's like laughing with me rather than going, "Oh my god."
There they go again. I'll be here as long as I can. Yes, that's the spirit. Veronica is a cool
Hey,
character.
Newbie, how are you?
We're going to find out just exactly how cool she is, Mrs. M. Gina C is in as well, and Victoria. Hiya, Karen. Great to see you here. Hey, talking of ladies, bon dia from Jack as well. The Algarve ladies are loving the fact that Veronica's here. However, ladies, let me just put this to you. If I look at our leaderboard of contributors, and that's how we're rolling here. It is a community curated, created, and contributed show. We're independent, and our aim is to serve you, inspire you, entertain, and educate you about Portugal. And it's you we're aimed at as the community, and we'd love your support on that basis. And if you're one of those people who stops us in the street and says, "Hey, you two, yeah, expats everywhere, expats Portugal, awesome! You're to blame for us being here. If we helped you out, feel free to bung us a little bit. And that was the word I used yesterday with Owen, wasn't it? But feel free to contribute and support us at goodmorningportugal.com. And the reason I mention it now, and in relation to the ladies, look, it's all fellas so far. And I think our demographic is a 55 plus gentleman.
I think that's because you're the main anchor, isn't it?
What do you call me?
This is anchor.
Anchor. Okay.
Get your hearing aid sorted out.
We'll see. Pardon? What? I heard that. So yes, James, top of the leaderboard. Look at that. Phil. Thank you, Phil, for your support as of yesterday. Darren, Jean, Jeff, Eric J.
Had you thought for a moment you might actually be putting women off from
what?
From being part of this community, seeing how many men there are?
Yes, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have ladies' morning, 2 for the price of 1, or 3 drinks something like that.
Or you could maybe not just like focus on male or female.
I see where I've gone wrong already, because it was a challenge. I was thinking, okay, ladies, where are you? It's all fellas on the leaderboard, and I think it's fellas that might rise to that sort of competitive.
Get it off.
Get it off. What? You just don't want to. I just don't want to see that sort of thing first thing in the morning. Put it away. Put it away. Okay. Before we get started, and Veronica's fantastic video, one of many, I have to say.
I'd like to see it.
What? You like to see it? Okay, but
I'd love to see it.
This is Indie Portugal Thursday, where, if I show you on our GuMPer store, we're looking to, bring your attention to the smaller brands, the independent brands, and also the classic brands, as you can see there. It's rather sparsely populated, it has to be said, in the sections of food and wine, places and spaces, professional services. You see some of our co-hosts there, music, artists and craftspeople, the great Terence Austin, Ali Sheldrake, Owen, Jenny B, Bramblebees. These are the products we want on here as options for people. With regard to, let me just put this back up. This is a bookstore that says, buy books from people who want to sell books, not colonize the moon. I think we know who they're referring to there. Now, of course, Amazon is quite handy sometimes, is it not? Of course it is. And I'm not one of these, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not saying what is the right thing to do, virtue signaling, but I think it's quite important at the same time to have a bit of balance and support Portuguese businesses and each other in this community, people who are running businesses in this community. Let's support them and maybe divert a few of our euros from the moon colonizer and the Mars colonizer. Sometimes it's perfect, especially when you're a foreigner and you don't know what you're doing going into shops. But I think it's part of our community's job here to say to people, well, there are these options. And this person in that shop is lovely. You don't need to go to the relative safety of Amazon and or other eBay or whatever other sort of corporate shops there are online. You can go to this particular Portuguese shop, Portuguese person. So please do send me those recommendations for the GuMPer store so that we can give those out. That's what we're all about on a Thursday, especially, but any day of the week. And you'll find the GuMPer store at the Good Morning Portugal website. All the W's.
Yeah, it's important to support people, isn't it? It's important to help out people who are trying to make an impact in Portugal. And I love all those people, who are in the directory there. I think it's really amazing. I read the room slightly wrong. I just want to hold my hand up and say I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Nivionette is saying, hang on. Are you and I at cross purposes here? How come I can't do that? Is it because you just keep switching them off?
Access denied.
What?
I'm not doing anything now.
Okay, Nivionette, Victoria and I aren't afraid of the dudes. Actually, I'm not either. And yeah, fair play. We should all stand up for the dudes too. I'm sorry. And in fact, Victoria's saying, got that right, Nivionette. Yeah, let's do it. Love your laugh. That's very sweet. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we it may be then that the ladies do want to compete. I've just changed my backdrop especially for Michaela. Are you in Lisbon now? No, I'm in Porto this morning. Yeah. Porto. Actually, we're in San Martino de Porto. But look at this. Francis sent me in this lovely picture.
It's lovely,
one of many fantastic pictures that he sends in. So I'll be in Porto, and Mrs. M is in our front room in San Martino de Porto. It's all about the Portos. And of course, Veronica's in the Algarve, and Carl, the other Carl who's with us this morning at 9:30, is in Lisbon. So how are you doing, Michaela Brown? How's it going in your part of the world? We do like your spirit. Talking about independently spirited people, I think that perfectly sums up. Not that we're pigeonholing or putting anyone in a box here on this show, but I think independently spirited is a tag you wouldn't deny there, Michaela. And Baddy's liking the cut of our jib this morning. Support your locals. Okay. Mrs. M,
well, it might even encourage people, if they've got a hobby or if there's something that they're really passionate about. It might even support people to have the confidence to try something new in their new country.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And a little bit of an introduction goes a long way, doesn't it? Go into this shop. And actually, you'll see in this video in just a moment, the ladies that lunch in VRSA with
VRSA.
Villarreal Sant Antonio, in the Algarve. They have their favorite server, I think they called her, waitress, we would say, I think in the UK. But this lovely girl in the video, she's so delighted, and I think looks forward to seeing these ladies every week, drinking all that booze that they seem to be drinking there. They might be big tippers too. Who knows? Who doesn't like a big tip first thing in the morning or any time of the day, right? So this is what we're talking about. It's the network, isn't it? Where you can overcome your fears of being in the new country and connect with local independent traders, staff in restaurants, human beings, basically, rather than corporations, right?
I think that's really, really important. I don't know how you started the show this morning, but
badly.
Okay.
To answer that question, I started the show like this.
Very clever. I love it.
You like that?
No, but
Sorry,
you're talking about networks and the strength of networks. I think that's really important. We showed up for a friend last night that really needed us, and she had another person.
That is how
yeah. I mean, even if you're really health conscious, you know, and really look after yourself like our friend does, we can't always prepare for every single occurrence, and you know, and little accidents happen. And in those moments, you need to know who are your go-to people and what are your go-to documents. What do you need? It was a real kind of slap in the face for us, you know, helping us see just how vulnerable we leave ourselves by not being fully prepared. It's quite shocking.
What's the bug out bag. You know, it is worth having, because we talked a lot about this when the fire season was on, about having a bug out bag. But I think foreigners, immigrants, expats, if your Portuguese isn't A2 at least, you know, it's worth having maybe a sheet by the door, not a bed sheet, an information sheet, you know, with your vital information on, that will be very useful to the emergency services. And that might include your health insurance, a next of kin, you know, good friends, numbers, SNS numbers, all of these sorts of things, health insurance details. It's worth thinking about that. It was quite sobering last night, wasn't it, to be in that situation?
Yeah, really.
You know, flashing lights and everything.
Because our friend was incapacitated, we needed to run around her house and her car to try and find all the things that she needed. And I wouldn't want to be in that position myself. I mean, I remember when I was sort of heavily pregnant here with our third child, and Carl needed to go back to the UK for a few days. And I was in the middle of nowhere with two small children, and actually really quite big. And, you know, we'd only been in the country less than a year, and I just had this note. I didn't know what to do. You know, in case of an emergency, I had a letter that my son could run to a neighbor with, and we felt so vulnerable. And weirdly enough, we've thrown that information away. We need to do that for ourselves.
You had a letter,
know, you're right, like a grab bag. You know, we've prepared for fires, we've prepared for birthing, but actual everyday accidents can happen, and they do happen.
They clearly do. And you had a 9-year-old was going to go to the next door neighbor with a letter, wasn't he, that you'd written in Portuguese to summon up help if necessary? Yeah,
but he wasn't 9 then, he was 6. He must have been terrified at the thought.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, because it wasn't 2 years ago, of course, was it?
No, it was 3 years ago. And we don't have a 9-year-old. We have a almost 11-year-old. So he wasn't 6. He was.
I'm all over it. Don't you worry about that.
I think it's clear to say, you know, it was a really late night last night, wasn't it?
It really was. It was a it was stressful. With you know, I think we've managed to do as much as we possibly can this morning. And the dog is in the studio. He likes it here, and he is missing his mummy a little bit, but he's fitting in perfectly well at the moment. And he's set an example to the other dogs, isn't he? Who are quite unruly.
He's much better behaved than our two.
He's a distinguished old gentleman, and here he is lying at my feet while we do the Good Morning Portugal show. It's lovely. Okay, let's play that video then from Veronica. You'll like this. This is a lovely little view. I'm pretty sure it's a VRSA, and I think Villarreal, Sant Antonio, and I think Victoria will be able to confirm or deny, as will Jack Polly, who joined us this morning after Mrs. Emma's retracted her comments.
Which one? What's that?
You retracted your comments about ladies being competitive this morning. So let's see you, ladies. At Good Morning Portugal.
Cheers, friends. We're at the Cafe Latte Terrace having a fun little ladies' lunch, and they have something fun to say. Good morning, Portugal, from the Americans in the Algarve. And Daniela, our favorite server. We love you. Yes, we love Daniela. Rain, rain, didn't keep them away. Still a good place for shopping. Middle of October, when people say places that are shut down in winter, this isn't one, because it's a real town. This is a real town, and that, Caravella, is one of my favorite stores. The owner is one of my neighbor's best friends. And so now, I'm off to one of our favorite spots, Cafe Latte. Oh, some shopping along the way. Shopping, shopping. Empty food place. Oh, Caravella's getting ready for their Christmas store. It's October. It's gonna be the Christmas store. Oh, such a nice breeze. Because actually I'm hot walking. And here we are going. Are my girls there? Are my girls there? Nope. Oh, I think we're to meet upstairs. I always love this bike. How cute is this? Hola, boa tarde. Oh, bom dia. Bom dia. Tudo bem? Oh yeah, going upstairs. Mind the steps. Again, the British English. Mind. Be aware. Be careful. Mind the steps. I hear somebody. I hear some people. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How are you? How's it going? Hi friends, welcome to one of our favorite places, the Terrace Cafe Latte. Upstairs, the terrace. We're having a little ladies' lunch today. They have something special to tell you today.
And she's going to tell you that in person. How cool was that? We want to go there, don't we?
Looks like so much fun. And seeing that street view, just I really felt like I was in so many different places, you know, and I could almost feel that beautiful sort of continental, warm and slightly sort of humid air. Oh,
yes. And isn't Daniela
really nice.
beautiful? Daniela was the waitress in the cafe there. She was beautiful and lovely.
Yeah,
and
really
I
beautiful.
would love it if you would go into them and say, Daniela, we saw you on the Good Morning Portugal. It's so lovely to meet you. Please do that. We do like you to mention Good Morning Portugal when you go in. That'll be lovely. And I see that Veronica is getting ready with a beautiful Veronica. Stay where you are for a moment. I just want to show this lovely view of where you are. Look at that for a view.
Wow, that's so nice.
Veronica,
with all those lovely colours, that would make such a nice painting.
It would, wouldn't it? Oh, she's here already. Okay, that's not the sort of entrance we give our guests. Okay, hold on.
It's a great green screen.
Should we stop? Shush. Should we bring her on a bit early because you want to talk to her, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome onto the screen American in Portugal, Veronica.
Hello. How are you this morning?
Veronica, how are you? How are you?
Good,
That's an
doing
amazing
well.
green
Can you hear
screen.
me okay?
Yeah, we can. Loud and clear. Beautiful.
Yes, I'm loud.
Thank you so much. That video was brilliant. Daniela, is that her name? Your server, your waitress there?
Oh, she's the best. Yeah, that's Daniela. I mean, whenever we have events, that's a little British kind of pub. And when we have events, we get that whole top room, and she's amazing. I've got pictures of her carrying more alcohol than anyone possibly could.
Really? Well, that sounds like a British pub. That sounds like a proper British pub. I've got to say, the rest of it, not so much. I mean, what British pubs are called Cafe Latte, Victoria? Veronica, what am I saying? We have got Victoria here. But yeah, is it called Cafe Latte?
Yeah, it's Cafe Latte.
Okay.
And it's got, Hendrix and gin and tonic and Tanqueray for my fancy friends. They must have Tanqueray and and it's a proper pub. They've got the beer on pressure and,
they got Guinness
the cozy seats and the little rose and the little gin bottle.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And a ham sandwich? That's a
toasties, and they do a proper English breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking. What about Guinness?
Yeah. Oh, of course they've got Guinness on tap. Of course.
What a place.
What a place. Without a Guinness on tap.
Well, true. I was thinking it should be called the King's Head or the Queen's Head or something like that. But the Cafe Latte, fair enough. Cafe Latte, fair enough. English breakfast, pint of Guinness, excellent stuff. When we
Veronica, I'm dying to ask, how did you come to be about in Portugal? Like, how did it happen, and how long have you been here? Because you look quite established, given that you've got all these relationships and you're having all these lovely lunches and whatnot. How did you come to be here and end up where you are? In fact,
so I've been here 5 years, and it's kind of the American dream that you want to visit Europe, but then to live in Europe is like, wow. I mean, the culture, the history, even just within Portugal itself, every little town is so different. It's like its own little country. So we love that. As Americans, we love the history. We're just a few hundred years old, and we were the original Brexit, right?
Oh, that's awkward. That is proper awkward this morning.
I don't find that awkward at all. I think
it was going so well. And now we're talking about original Brexit.
I love it. Carry on.
Okay, so we're the original Brexit anyway, but it's, there's not as much history to us. Every little castle, every corner. To you all, you're like, yeah, that's the castle we drive by every day. We're like, it's a castle. Look, I live by a castle. And I've been here 5 years. I'm excited every day. And so when you look for a place you can retire, and being a traveler, my parents, of course, enabled the wanderlust and taking me around the world. We didn't have a ton of money, but we were rich in travel and experiences and, life. And so they kind of put that travel bug, wanderlust in me. And, you get to the point where you can retire and you start looking at your taxes and you're like, do we want to retire here? From California, property tax, $1,000 a month. And then you get taxed on your taxes and you have state and federal. And I calculated it once to be like a 70% tax rate, because then you pay taxes on your after-tax dollars. You don't get the VAT back or the sales tax, right? So here you show your fiscal number and you get that back. You don't get it here. So your after-tax dollars you spend, and you spend the taxes again, and there's no recourse on that. So you start going, I'm working for 20 or 30%, and our taxes are quite expensive when it comes to working. And then when you look at how much you pay for healthcare, so you could be paying $200, $300, $400 to an employer, and employer's paying that. And here, when I first came over, I got the $50 a month plan, and I was just shocked at how cheap it was. I went in for an X-ray, and it was €4.80. So you're looking at the places to retire, looking around the world, and of course, Europe's number one. But is it affordable? And where in Europe is affordable? And where is it safe? And where can you acclimate to the culture, the language? Portugal ranks the top in all of them, right?
Yeah. Have you been to other European countries?
Oh, of course. Yeah. But I love my little heat map on Google Photos, and you can see everywhere you've been. Oh, absolutely. I just get my car and drive. I did a huge road trip up to the Pyrenees and Andorra and through Spain and France. I actually imported my car to Great Britain, and that was a dumb mistake. Don't do this, and don't bring your car to Portugal if you're an American. Don't.
Said.
Just buy one.
Well, yeah, we had to get rid of our car as well.
And you were like Great Britain too. That's when Great Britain was still EU, right?
Yeah, but
we came before Brexit.
You imported,
so you should be able to keep your car here, EU to EU, right?
Oh, it broke down. It's
yeah. But you also have to get them matriculated, and we had a camper van that opened on, like, it was set up for our roads, and of course it's the opposite way around here. And so where our sliding door was in the wrong place of the camper van. So even if it hadn't have broken down, we'd have come a cropper anyway.
But the great thing is it did break down, and we were given some money for it. It got scrapped here, and we were given some money. It's great if your vehicle breaks down in Portugal, actually, if you're insured.
What happened?
But we will tell that story.
We want to focus on you.
This is about you this morning at 9 o'clock.
I'm people, so I want to hear about you too.
Yeah, okay, I know what it's like.
Another time and make snarky comments like, "Did you eat the caterpillar?"
You are a resident now, so maybe we'll gather and tell that story next time. But it's all about you this morning, okay? This is announcing your new residency here on our news page. So we're delighted to have you here. We've got you and Carl in new residencies, and we've got Tony Barbosa up in the north, but a bit of Tony time in the future. And that's all on our news desk if you want to go and have a look at that. Good Morning Portugal as well. But Veronica, you imported your car to Britain, and you were going to road trip down from UK to Portugal. Was that the idea?
I did, and it was so fabulous. I went under the sea on a train. I was like, I'm under the sea on a train. I'm like, who knew? Because you look and you're like, how am I going to drive from Great Britain to France, and or to the continental Europe? But people have done it. And so I Google it, and I'm like, oh, there's a channel that goes underneath. I guess there's a ferry you can drive on top of too.
Yeah.
That's Santander. But that's like a couple days. This was like, I drove in, I bought the Premier Pass because I had no idea what I was doing. Everything was electronic. It was so cool. This little digital scanny thing on my visor. They gave me some snacks and alcohol for you're driving. Okay.
Getting used to life in Portugal.
How very continental.
Yes.
It's like the old Texas drive-through liquor stores. You gotta scratch your head and go drive through. I'd like a vodka, please.
Wow, they do that in Texas. My goodness.
They used to. They don't
Right.
anymore.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
And so that sounds great. You got into France. What was it like? You said then you had to swap sides of the road when you're arriving in France. Did you enjoy driving in France?
Oh yeah. And for me, driving on the right
Of
or
course.
the correct side of the road, you say that this
Easy.
side, not the left.
All right.
It's so much easier because, definitely driving in Great Britain. I drive in Ireland. It's so easy to hop around. It's like 20 euros. My friends even called for, flights. So you always have to look at driving versus flying as well. And my friend called and said, hey, do you want to go to Paris? I said, let me check the flights. You look online, 20 euros, Orly. I can avoid Charles de Gaulle. I'll be there. Boom, you pop into Paris.
What's wrong with Charles de Gaulle? Hold on a minute. We got a Parisian traveler's hack here. You're going to Orly rather than Charles de Gaulle. Why is that?
Yeah, because it's like Faro, where Faro is a smaller airport and it's so easy and navigable.
Okay.
Versus Orly, where Orly is like, okay, you get off and you got to take a train to the train to. Have you been through Orly a lot or to Charles de Gaulle a lot?
No. I mean, I've because we're so close to France. I used to live in France as well. Actually, just used to drive everywhere or get the train. Because it's just so easily. It's just so easy. But I know what you mean. I remember flying into, I think it was Italy. Maybe Turin or something. And we had this like really, really long transfer and it just took forever. And it was just like, why would you do this? I had the same in Egypt as well. And it just gets really kind of uncomfortable when that happens. You want to kind of arrive and then boom, there you are.
Go.
Yeah.
You don't want to waste your day like messing around.
Talking of airports, sorry, not
forget. Sorry.
No, go on. While we're talking about airports, John is not a fan of London Heathrow at the moment. It took 90 minutes to transfer within one airport to get from my arrival flight from Porto to my departure flight to Denver, Colorado. That would be, wouldn't it, DN? Sorry, Veronica, I interrupted you there. Carry on.
No, just I'm listening and talking, and that's so hard to do.
Welcome to my world.
So I don't know how you're looking at the thingies and listening and popping them up. You are so talented.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's very kind of you. But we want to hear more about you. I want to hear, especially, I'm sure Mrs. M's got questions for you, as long as she's able to stay here this morning, about wet. No, that's a weather report, I think, from Hertfordshire this morning. And of course, we had a 4-duck rating from T-Duck. Has anyone cracked that yet? What's your niche on YouTube? You are, I would say, a prolific and much loved YouTuber. That's your main sort of portal, isn't it, into the world that you're creating, the life that you're creating here in Portugal. What's the niche on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, and I think that was answering your question. Sorry, I've been here 5 years, and then during COVID, kind of got stuck inside, got kind of swept into real estate, and I didn't want to do real estate again because I trained agents in America, and then I started making videos to show what Portugal's like. And then I said, I don't like real estate, and got out of it because here, you know what it is. And in the Algarve, it's a wild, wild west. Agents, I love you. You're special. You put up with a lot of stuff here. So big kudos to you.
But you're not in it anymore. You're not in that business, or you are in that business?
No, I'm not. But I'll help people and I'll pair them. Like, we're going to speak to an agent today. So if he's great, then he's another referral contact, right? So I think it's really important. And speaking about real estate here is that some people will buy through the internet or sight unseen, or they'll go from somebody that they just hear about, and you just hear about the scams. And I think it's really important to get a referral. And I think you have a referral service as well, right? Somebody who's trusted. You've got to do that. I just had popped up to Oktoberfest. I say up but over. In Porsches, they had a big Oktoberfest. And I met a guy who said, oh my gosh, my friend's just heartbroken. He bought this place. He was from Scotland, and he bought this place, and he was so excited to have this summer holiday house for his family. He came down, was getting the plans all arranged. Of course, he paid cash, getting all the plans arranged. And then someone comes outside and says, you don't own this house. What are you talking about? What? And had lost all the money. Someone took all his money and they were gone. Just set up a scam that looked like a real office. For $400,000 or $500,000, you can do that once a month and move around. The police are investigating, but I think this is where I think we have to remind people, and especially the internet, right? Everything on the internet's true.
Yes.
They really need to get a referral. You need to get a proper referral. And it's just important. And, you know, do the right steps. We always say, I have some videos on doing it here, you know, for Americans. And Cindy and I always say, would you do it in America? Then don't do it here. You know, title insurance, making sure you actually own the property. You know, everything from a survey to make sure there's not permit issues and make sure the structure is sound. And they even come with the thermography guns. We don't do that in America. They come around and they're like, that wall, bad wall, that wall, good wall. So you know what you're walking into, right?
Mrs. M would love one of those.
I would. I'd be hunting out all the damp, getting my vinegar out on it.
That's where you are.
That is really, really good advice. If you're not going to do it back home, don't do it here. Really, I think
everywhere.
Advice.
Yeah, if you wouldn't do it back home, why would you do it here? I think people come and they're so excited, and it's a new country. The rules must be different. Let's do it different. And I came in and I just ramrodded through the process, and they looked at me like, "Who is this woman?" I said, "No, I'm doing it my way," because they said, the seller writes the contract. I'm like, "Oh, no. I'm the buyer. I'm writing the contract." I had my attorney write the contract, brought it in. I don't even think the agents read it, because we get to the closing and there's this big fight. And I'm like, y'all let my attorney write the contract. You didn't check it. And now you're fighting?
Wow. We got a photo of their faces when you said that.
They were literally screaming at each other in Portuguese. I'm like, I love my attorney. I love my attorney. I have no idea what everybody's saying, but he protected me. So,
well, I think a few people are going to want that attorney's contact details.
And you've got them in Lisbon too. So when we talk to your guy in Lisbon, because they actually show up to the closing, and you close live, you know, for people that don't understand, you close right then, you get the deed. In America, you close and then it's recorded. So escrow will give the deed, or the attorneys will give the deed over to the signed deed to the registrar. And then within a day or two, or weekend 3, then it's actually recorded and you get the official paperwork. Here, it's live. You walk out with like, okay, I own this.
You know what? And people are going to be saying, Veronica definitely needs to be back in real estate. She's got the right attitude.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be showing houses. They have loyalty issues here. That people come in. I saw that on a Facebook post, and I'm like, no. This guy says, oh, every time I come to a new town, I call a real estate agent, and he gives me a free tour around. I just act like I'm buying. And I'm like, oh, you're not a kind person, because that person has kids. They've had to call all these people. The homeowners are there, the other agents there. It's not like America where it's a lockbox and you just get the key and wander on in. No, it's 3 people have rearranged their whole day for you.
Yeah.
And you're using that poor agent's gas and time, and they could be with their family. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's a whole load of us doing tours. I mean, you can
you're doing tours?
Yes, of course we will.
Okay, we need the whole list. Do tours. Go do tours. Figure out where you want to live. Pay people properly.
That's right. And there are, we've got the contact details for Portuguese tour guides as well, who will be very reasonable, very good value, and give you a proper tour from the bottom of their heart about their love of their country and history. That's the way to get a tour, not to go look around houses at people's underwear and stuff. Stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah, just stop it. Good British off this morning.
I feel like I need to go.
And he said, and I said, oh, can you give a tour down here? And he says, yes. And so I passed along the contact, because he was going to drive them from Lisbon anyway with, their 20 bags from America, right? Because you're going to move here. There's 20 bags, their dog, give them a tour, take them to their place. And then the people called me the next day and said, he says he hates the Algarve and he would never recommend this place. I'm like, probably not a good tour guide for the Algarve.
Right. That is very honest though, isn't it? We were in a taxi when our car broke down.
Yeah.
Taxi to Lisbon, and we were really excited about going to Lisbon. And we said to the taxi driver, who said a lot of interesting things along the way, it has to be said. But one of the things he said was when we asked him, what's your favorite thing about Lisbon? Because we were keen, we thought he'd give us a nice tourism tip. What's your favorite thing about Lisbon? The road back to San Martinho de Porto. That was his favorite thing about Lisbon. All right, Mrs. M, did you say you've got to go?
Yes, I need to leave because I need to find myself a green screen so I can have a lovely panoramic view. I feel slightly drab and mundane. You guys have got these beautiful skyscapes behind you, and I've got our lounge.
Green screen.
Real life.
Here, I do not have a green screen.
You don't?
That's why sometimes my fingers go in and out.
You have a white screen.
Magic.
No,
Magic.
I just have a wall. There's just a wall behind me, and
Okay.
It's an effect. What?
Yeah.
What is that? Don't look into her eyes at the moment, anybody.
I'm a witch.
No, truthfully, I need to go and sort out a bit of a rabble upstairs by the sounds of it.
Don't be getting your green screen off Amazon after all we've said today. Nice fish, by the
That's
way.
a beautiful fish. All right,
Okay,
gotta go.
Veronica. There. Stay tuned for more things he doesn't tell you in my next episode coming up tomorrow. Bye for now.
She's still here. She has something else to say.
Yes, I wanted to say one thing. Carl just cut me off.
Yeah.
Just spat me out. And
come on, we've got stuff to do.
I wanted to say, I've got a pet project at the moment. I'd love to contact you about it. Can I get your details from him down below? Yeah?
Like the Brady
I'll
Bunch.
be in touch.
There's a story. Lovely.
Bye.
Thank you, Mrs. M. Yes, but there she goes.
You,
right.
Sorry,
it was a bit quick.
Willing to help anyone and everyone. But it really is fun here, and this channel has made it where I'm like this connector. You know, you're connecting all the people around, and we joke, I'm the mayor of Villarreal de Santo Antonio, and Rui is the mayor, the American mayor of Tavira, and we have little parties together and get the expats together.
A lovely way of looking at it. And yes, Victoria, the president of Portimao, possibly then. Hola, bon dia, kids from soggy Portimao, enjoying a break from the otherwise relentless sunshine. That's a really nice plug for the Algarve. So that was funny. That tour guide saying, I'd never live there, having dropped those people to start their new life. Why the Algarve for you, Veronica?
Oh, it was a no-brainer. My husband and I flew all over. We looked everywhere we might want to live, and started in Porto, which beautiful. Oh my gosh, I visit there all the time. Lisbon, lively, vibrant, so much going on. You know, Estoril and Cascais and Casicas actually is what it's called. In case you don't know, it's not Cascais. It's
Casicas. Very good.
Walking everywhere, going, I have a hotel in Casicas. Where is it? And they're like. And finally, someone looked at it. Let me see it. And they're like, that's Cascais. Like,
Casicas, that's brilliant. I'll be looking out for that.
Casicas. I can't find Casicas. Cascais, Portuguese. And being from Southern California, which we love that, just like we love San Francisco, but it is more cool, damp, wet, where we really do need the rain, and we appreciate it. You know, we've had some rain and we need it. It just rains more up there than here. And I'm a Southern California girl. So I need the beach. I need to be able to walk on the beach. And where I found this little corner of paradise, really, it's the deep south and the far east. It's the most southeastern corner of Portugal. And I literally I'm looking at Spain right now. So I have a river view looking at Spain. Yeah, it's brilliant. And I'm just a few minutes down to the beach with soft, fluffy sand beach. And we do have a beach in Villarreal de Santo Antonio. Some bloggers came on and they just, buzz through for the day and leave, right? Oh, let me tell you all about this town. They come in a day and they leave. And there's these cute bloggers and they're just adorable, say, oh, we love Villarreal de Santo Antonio. It's so cute, but there's no beach. We're going to go to Monte Gordo. And I just giggle and go, well, you got to go through the forest. There's these beautiful pine trees. But we'll just keep that our hidden beach.
Sometimes you got to do that, haven't you? You got to keep some of those favorites to yourself, or reveal them to people who aren't just passing through. They got to earn it sometimes, haven't they? And there's no end to that in Portugal. That's one of the wonderful things. There is no end to the little secrets around every corner, all over the country, that you're no doubt aware of in your part of the world there. As well as a smash that like button, Veronica. We got some greetings for you and some questions. Francis in South Africa this morning.
Hi, Francis.
He supplied my Porto a backdrop there. Thank you, Francis. And some of his photos up on the news desk as well that I mentioned earlier on. Here, in fact, let me just give you a quick taster of them. There, look at that beautiful photography from Francis. They're there for Lisbon.
Oh, wow.
And where is this pub? Darren Live wants to know. That is Cafe Latte right in the middle of town in VRSA?
Yeah, it is. It's not in the city square. It's about 2 blocks west. So 2 blocks west of the city square. You go to my favorite Cafe Puro, which is in the square. Well, I guess they're both my favorites. I shouldn't say favorite because that's not nice. Okay, so one of my favorites. And then you just walk in front of that away from the square, 2 blocks. And there's another one of my favorites, Cafe Latte.
Excellent.
And, these are places where the owners are there. And so they care and they take care of you. they hire people like lovely Daniela, who just
Daniela, ask for Daniela. And this is what we're talking about. This is, you know, when you're here in this residency, we love those sort of recommendations, Veronica. Independent Portugal. You know, there's a time and a place for the corporations, and they can be very convenient and they can be good value. But it's really important, we think, to balance that up with some independent recommendations. So, yeah, whether it be expat, foreigner, immigrant, or local, indigenous independent businesses, do let us know what they are, and we'll stick them in our directory. We have greetings from Algarve as well, not far from you, from Paul. There's water coming from the sky. How strange.
Yes, well, what is that?
It is a rainy old week this week, so enjoy it. Get out there in your trunks and your Speedos, Paul, and save a bit of money.
No, don't go out in your Speedos.
No?
Americans say no Speedos. No.
Your baggies.
Shorts to your knees.
Or go to one of the nudist beaches and have a shower in the Algarve. Don't send pics. Bon dia. Dari, I think.
Dari, how are you, Dari?
Dari.
Are you going to post that Good Morning Portugal clip I gave you?
We already played it. We played it this morning.
Well, I didn't know I was supposed to get on before 9. I got on 10 minutes early.
It was your trailer. It was your teaser.
Oh, I told everybody to come on at 9.
I'll play it again. I'll play it again for everybody, just because you said so. All right.
She said good morning.
Dari's in there. We'll play it again in just a minute, so and anyone else who missed it will be able to see that.
Dari's delightful, and she plays pickleball with us. They've just moved here a couple months ago.
Pickle, paddle, and croquet. It's all going on down there, isn't it? Bon dia, Portugal. Have a great day from Cindy as well.
Cindy's also in the video, and Cindy is my key player that says all the time, if you wouldn't do it in Portugal, or if you wouldn't do it in America, why would you do it here? That's her catchphrase.
That is an interesting little way of looking at life, isn't it? Thank you very much for that, Cindy. You're most welcome here this morning.
She's in real estate too, so we built together. Well, not here, but back in America. So we giggle about all the real estate there versus here, and go, wow, why?
There is quite a lot to giggle about. Let's face it. It's a culture shock, isn't it? James, pleased to see Nuno as well. Morning all from Owen, who was here yesterday. You enjoyed us drinking a bit of ginginha yesterday, didn't you?
How do you say it still? So I wasn't saying you pronounce it. I was asking, how do you say it? Is it like gin and ginger, or gin or Gina, or
Ginger? Nuno told us about this yesterday, and I've already forgotten. But I think ginger is the name of the brand and the herb or the flavor. But the actual drink itself is ginginha. One of these mornings, I think, to get people coming back to see you next time, and we'll plant this in their subconscious. We're going to see you eating the whole cup of chocolate with ginginha inside.
You're not going to share that. Yeah, I was trying to eat it because you don't want it to break, because there's still some of the yummy stuff inside. So you drink the ginginha, the cherry liqueur. So you drink it, and you have to be careful not to squish the cup, right? Because it's very thin, chocolate cup. And then you go, okay, there's a little left in the bottom, so I can't just bite it. It'll drip all over me. So you put the whole thing in your mouth, and then you're like this.
Splurge
of it.
Yes, all down you. Don't wear a nice white dress, especially you, Paul, if you're going to Obidos, because you'll get that down your front. Chocolate and ginger liqueur down the top of your summer dress. Not a good look. Okay, so we might play that video today then or we might save it for next time when you come back, because of course this is you being here on this residency, which I'm so looking forward to. So don't worry, if your question isn't answered by Veronica this morning, she'll be back in the third Thursday slot. If you're in VRSA often, I'll be happy to join you. So another new friend there, Anna Olsen.
Hi, Anna. I live in Villarreal. I live here. This is my home.
There you go. And Darren Live, I think goodness me about the story you were telling about buying property, which is prompting Chris as well. Hello, Chris. Yes. Nice of you to join us. This is in a British accent. Get a bloody decent lawyer, won't you?
Yes.
And my solicitor seems to be good. And I think
seems, that's the qualifying word. Why does it just seem versus my solicitor is good?
Yes. But Jay, referrals. It's all about referrals. I personally found me a Schmerish for language instruction, Spartan FX for foreign exchange, and more. And Nuno and insurance from my health insurance, and all from being here at Good Morning Portugal, and I highly recommend all of them. Now, that crew, that wonderful one-stop shop of people, you can find at expatsportugal.com, and I'd be most grateful if you'd use my affiliate link. That gets the kids fed as well. So feel free to use the affiliate link for signing up for membership, premium membership especially, to Expats Portugal, and taking advantage of all those lovely things that James was mentioning there. More incoming for you. Bon dia. What's the drama today, Carlito? Daily drama here. Guaranteed. There has been some, but not with Veronica. We're just hanging out with Veronica, who you might know, you might have seen. This is Frank, who joins us on the 4th Friday of the month. Have you seen him wandering about with his bongo drum around his neck and his leather waistcoat, ponytail?
In the Algarve?
In the Algarve, yeah, unmissable. No, perhaps not. You need to make the acquaintance, I think, there of Veronica. Frank, great to see you here this morning. No drama, no drama. That hashtag no drama, that's us.
No, the drama is that there's wet stuff falling from the sky and we don't know what it is.
Your drama, Frank. Don't worry, friends. It's only rain, okay, in the Algarve. Yeah, we are here to counsel the Algarvians. Is that what you call collectively, Algarvians? Or Algarvezens, perhaps? Don't worry, Algarve people. It will pass. But probably not for a few more days, right, Veronica? It's in for a few days.
No, and it's really good. I always say, the reason that I moved here, it's so similar to Southern California. And it's very similar in that we're always in drought and then we have fires. So drought, fire, drought, fire. I've got the comfort of my beaches and the climate of California, but the lovely history and people of Portugal.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for that. And we will continue our counselling of the Algarvians with you there, Veronica, helping to deal with this rain. Here's another strategy for that from Jack Polly, who's down there in the Algarve, of course, in Portimao. When it's raining outside, learn to play in the puddles. That's the way to do it, isn't it?
I love it. Let's get some galoshes and jump around and scare the kids. Right as they're all going to school.
Please, we would love the video of that as well. So that's your video. That's your video assignment for next time, please, Veronica.
Scare the children if we can find the puddles. Because when it does rain, it says it rains in the Algarve. You look at the app and it says it's raining, and you get this little springtime summer cloud. It's gone. You're like, that was raining.
But you are having a downpour at the moment, aren't you? I think, like everywhere.
Not right now. We did have some yesterday when we were in the cafe. It was great because that terrace has like the open. You can roll the windows up and down. It's on the 2nd level, and we were in there. It just started pouring, and we're like, "This is great." It's like the tropics or the Bahamas or the hiding in the purest cafe when all of a sudden the rain comes and
pounding down on the awning there. So it's a lovely feeling, isn't it? When you're warm inside, sipping on a gin and tonic, and it's peeing down outside. That's fantastic. Yeah. We've got additional information here. Look, the solicitor seems good with software. It doesn't sound so great, does it, Darren? I don't know if you want a second opinion. Obviously, check the forum of Expats Portugal is good for that. And if you want to ask questions here, do so, please, Darren Live. And I'm a Northern Californian guy, a beach guy in Ericeira. So see how we Californians.
There you go. He likes Northern California. He's in Northern Portugal.
I see. It's
very similar. Where San Francisco could be called like Puerto and Lisbon, and the Algarve could be Southern California. It's very similar. And you look at the way we're shaped, almost a similar shape. And we've got the coast. Yeah. So it's very, very similar. And then Portugal would be like our Mexico, right? People hop down, not that we need to from Southern California get sun, but definitely people from Oregon and Washington hop down to California or Mexico for the sunshine. So where a lot of the Brits, we always talk about that here too, that the Brits come here for the sunshine and the golf, and the Americans come here for like the little old towns. Like we wouldn't buy anything in a golf course village. We would buy stuff in the cute little towns where we can walk and go, oh my gosh, that building's older than our country.
Yes, and then the Brits, of course, have got places like Birmingham and Milton Keynes to go and look at. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right, because they get a little more sundown in the south.
Well, in Garden City. Glad to see you got back okay. That is to John, who's back in Colorado, a fellow American. Bon dia, todos from Jim. Beethoven, or how would you go with that? Beethoven? Veronica, why?
That's the way you said it. It's the way you said it. What are you thinking?
Beethoven. Beethoven, isn't it? Jim Beethoven. There you go. We'll go with that. What brings you here this morning, Jim? And I hope you're not put off.
I'm 2 years old.
Yes.
Also, if you need help in the Algarve, you can contact me. I do phone calls. I talk to people and say, do you want to live in the East or the West? You know, how do you come over here, go, you know, here or there for whatever your needs may be, you know, and definitely helping people find the right agent, or if they say,
how do they find you? I mean, we need that link, don't we? People will want to do that.
Oh, yeah, they can just do info@americaninportugal.com.
Did you get that domain, americaninportugal.com?
Well, I have a website, American in Portugal.
Of course.
Although I don't post to it much.
That domain is pretty special, americaninportugal.com. That must be worth a fortune in its own right, Veronica. Good job. Well done.
Well, I've been doing it 5 years, right? And people weren't really doing a lot of this pre-COVID. I mean, how long have you been doing it? When did you start?
Well, we're part of the pandemic COVID phenomenon. We started out as an information service during the pandemic, where English-speaking people in Portugal were terrified like everybody else, and we thought it might be useful to have an English-speaking service to let people know what to do. And now look what happened. It's just like, yes,
that's what happened with me. I made a video on why an American would move to Portugal, because that's what everybody asked, right? When you see by even all the local Portuguese, they're like, where are you from? And you go California, and they go, why are you here?
That's a good
history.
No, totally get that. Tammy's here as well. Bom dia todos. We love showing off your tentacles yesterday, Tammy. Your cooking is fantastic. Living in Porto, the city you see behind me there, and enjoying life there. Love to Fred and you this morning. We've been watching Veronica since the beginning, says Tammy. Fred is very interested in VRSA because of her. There you go. And they're in Porto. So I expect a visit, I would say, from Tammy and Fred. And is your cafe latte thing an actual meetup? Can anyone come, or is that more of a private thing for you ladies?
You know, we were doing more frequent meetups, but then people weren't RSVPing and it became way too big. So I kind of shut that down for a short period. And I think we're going to find a venue that can handle more people because, you know, it is the YouTube sensation. Almost everybody, at least the Americans that I talked to and some Canadians, are in our town because they saw the videos. And I'll just be walking through town. People are like, hi, Veronica. And I'm like, hi. And I'm like, it's going to take me 20 minutes to get where I'm going, but I need to stop and say hello. And they'll say, oh, we watched your videos. We're doing a tour now. And then a lot of people do reach out and they'll say, okay, well, where should we stay? Or what should we do? Or what town should we look at? We want to live downtown and we have a 200-pound dog and we need an acre of land and we want to be right by the center. And you kind of go, okay, let's have a chat about reality.
Yes. Yeah. I guess you have to let a few people down gently as well, don't you?
Set some expectations. And then I made questionnaires so that people can kind of process through planner questionnaire, whatever you want to call it, to where they can go through and they discuss it together with their spouse or dog or whoever needs to weigh in on the decision. You know, how do you picture your life? You know, what's important to you? You know, is it a beach? Is it a river? What do you see yourself doing every day? So it's almost like a psychology of the move before the move, because some people you just want to say, you know, this may not be for you.
Very
you know,
good.
and that's the reality. So I started taking phone calls on Sundays and I'll do like 3 or 4 and just talk.
What a lovely service. info@americaninportugal.com for that. And talking of meetups, little birdie told me that in Lisbon, the Lisboa riot of GuMPers are setting up a GuMPer gathering for 11th of November. That's good. Pop that in your diary. And of course, every Saturday night, you've got Hank and Connie as well hosting a meetup, which I have somewhere in my bulging picture deck here. I can't find it right now, but Saturday nights, Hank and Connie hosting. Maybe someone else could send that into me and I'll certainly put that up on the screen. But what a lovely network of meetups. Portimao as well. Jack, if you want to put the details in of yours as well, please do that. Thank you very much for that, James, this morning. Do you like dad jokes, Veronica? Because I might try a few on you before.
Do I like what jokes?
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes.
Are you familiar with the
genre? Dad. I'm gonna make fun of my dad.
No, this is what dads do. Dads are usually the transmitter to an unwilling, often, audience trapped in a car or trapped anywhere with dad, and in a sort of you're taken by surprise by these jokes often, and the collective noun is a groan of dad jokes, which gives you some idea. And we're trying them out on our guests. So can we try a few dad jokes out on you this morning? Is that all right?
We have the no dad shirts, which are like the Hawaiian shirts and like the bright shirts. And you go up to your dad and you say, no dad. That's a no dad.
Oh, I love it. Yes, a no dad.
No dad.
Which means that the dad wants to wear it even more, right? I'm definitely.
Oh, of course he would.
All right, so let's try these on you.
Kids are telling you no. So
we can see if you're going to giggle at these or not, as the case may be. We have enough youth. How about a fountain of common sense?
Ooh.
That's more of a pithy comment, isn't it, than a dad joke?
Yeah,
but that didn't have,
which is neither, right? There's no common or sense.
True. Nice comeback. See what you did there. Very good. Okay, next one. Worrying actually works. More than 90% of the things I worry about never happen.
I love that. Where's my pen and paper? I need to write that down.
It's not
Don't worry, just fly over here and move.
This is just dad wisdom, I think, this morning, rather than dad jokes. But we have got 3 more, which we'll try and Carl Hyde a little bit later on. How about this? I don't have an attitude problem. You have a perception problem.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. But no giggling. You're not exactly peeing yourself.
Well, they're actually good. They're not funny. They're real.
They're not funny. They're real. Thanks, Dad. I'll never forget.
You're not my tribe. I say it all the time. I'm like, if you're going to be irritated by me, don't hang out with me. Like, it's not my problem. It's yours.
How about that? I think we need a T-shirt line with that on. If you're irritated by me, don't hang out with me. That is direct.
How hard is it?
Love that.
I'll try not to be irritating, but I just am.
Well, this is how it is for self-expressed individuals, isn't it? And it's right that we be self-expressed, because if you're not doing that, you're holding yourself back, aren't you? And you're right. Other people can form themselves around you according to their likes and dislikes and tastes, right?
Well, and that's always boring. You know, when you go to an event and you're kind of the bubbly, gregarious one and everyone's just, and then you stop because nobody's bantering back.
Yes.
And nobody's talking. And you're like, is anyone else going to talk? Oh, no, we like to listen. Well, you're not fun. Talk. Cut each other off. Let's banter. Let's have some fun. We're not in a course. We're not in a class, classroom setting where it's like.
Anymore. Yes. Love it. Thank you very much. You may well have set a lot of people free with that this morning. If I irritate you, don't hang out with me. Is that right?
Stop coming to my parties.
Stop coming to my parties. Okay. Loving the rain, says Terence Austin. Fabulous artist. Do you think your ladies what lunch would be interested in a painting workshop led by the great Terence Austin?
We do. We just had wine and paint. I was going to send you that link, and then you get on your phone.
Sorry. I'm treading on your artist toes there.
No. We love to have different ones. Why not? We went up in the terrace, and we had 12 people, and we painted. We've done it twice. We did one was a boat, and one I forgot because when you take it home, it doesn't look like what it's about.
The abstract one.
We had so much fun drinking. It's wine and paint, right?
Yes. Okay. So maybe there's an opening there. He has got a British sense of humor that is so
dry. Where are you from, Terence?
Terence is in central Portugal, but he might travel. If his expenses are paid, and he'll be wearing a beret. He does the full-on cravat thing. His sense of humor is so dry that IPMA have to issue a weather warning of possible drought. So watch out for that. He's great company. Suggestion regarding chocolate cups and ginginha: sip all of the liqueur before eating the cup. Oh, that's just so grown up, isn't it?
How do you get it out of the bottom? He says there. Is it like getting to the bottom of your coffee cup? Like, how do you get
there comes a time.
There's always some at the very bottom.
You got to pop it in there. Yeah, absolutely. Testing.
I saw the video going.
Testing.
And then I was stupid enough to wash it down with cider. Oh, that's gross. Chocolate and cider.
Really? That's almost like a submarine cocktail, isn't it? Get a pint of cider, then get your chocolate cup with ginginha in it, drop it in, drink the cider, and then swallow it. Yeah, maybe not.
Not recommended. Not recommended. It was really gross. And then I did it again because I needed to. I'm like, oh, it's still gross.
You had to drink something else. I had to get a gin and tonic to get rid of the flavor. Well, I wouldn't walk alone. Oh, okay. So if you wouldn't do it in the States, you wouldn't do it here. Well, I wouldn't walk alone late at night in the US, and the safety of my location is why I would do it here.
Oh,
okay.
You're smart. Yes, the safety is much better here. You're right. You're right. I walk alone at midnight all the time. And
it does stack up that saying though on other levels with other things for sure. It's a good thing to check. And that was, I think we've got Cindy or Darry to thank for that.
I would say do that with real estate, maybe not everything, because you also wouldn't jump in your car and just start road tripping through like Arizona in the middle of nowhere if there's not like a cute town 20 minutes away.
Exactly. Yes. Please don't take any advice. Yeah. Anything we've said here, you can't apply it to every single area of your life. Okay.
Yes.
Check the label of every motto and saying. Carl Hyde has joined us backstage, but I'm not seeing any pictures of him yet. I'm just getting this at the moment. So, Carl, let us know when you've got your camera connected, and we'll bring you on, because we've got a lovely property to look at, Rocio Palace. He works with Coldwell Banker in Portugal. And
hi! Coldwell Banker was the one that recruited me.
Really, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, they're Coldwell Banker Global Luxury is the one that recruited me, because I used to train their agents in America.
Did you really? What a lovely connection then. And we have the Rocio Palace to share with you this morning.
Really?
How many millions for that? How many millions for the Rocio Palace? Well, just 280K, my friends. That looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Wow.
So we'll come back to that. Hopefully Carl will be able to
join. Investing in it together. That's Marta. Marta's my old friend. I love her. She's amazing. Right down there. Or
it's
there.
It's a small world. You're right. Marta.
Hi, Marta. Marta's amazing. We love her. She's Australian, and she used to be a psychologist, which is great for real estate, because you really need psychology, to go, let's think about what you want and why you want it before you invest all this money. And she
is on the show. We need you and Carl to bring her onto the show next time.
Absolutely.
The American in Portugal, and the Englishman in Lisbon, and the Australian psychologist as well. What could possibly go wrong? That's a bar joke right there, isn't it? An American.
She's lovely. And the people that ask about children in schools, she's got 2 children in an international school in Lisbon. So she has like lockdown on the international schools in Lisbon and Cascais and that whole area. So she's a really good resource for that, but only if you're going to buy from her. Don't just call her and ask her, hey,
no messing about with this tour thing. Okay, we're eating into Carl Hyde's slot, which is not a very nice thing to utter, but it's true.
So he's not there.
Here he comes. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Carl. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm very well. I'm so sorry. I've got that many different browsers open on my computer. It was saying that something else is using the camera, and I'm furiously looking around trying to find what it is. And then, after 5 minutes, I eventually found it. So my apologies.
We're delighted to have you here this morning. How tudo bem? Como estás?
I'm all well. I actually spent my little girl has been up all night throwing up, so I'm a little bit disorganized this morning. She's in the back room now. Not happy that I've made her turn off the TV behind me while I do the.
You can put it back on for your little girl. Oh, Carl, put it back on. We don't want to be the reason you're. Okay.
It's that same old thing. She was ill. I mean, she did throw up a few times actually, so she's definitely been ill. But she seems fine this morning. But I asked her, "How do you feel?" And I think she knows how to play the game. So she was, I think I should stay off school. And
yes, absolutely, definitely. We would agree with that as well. You have a nice day off, and you can watch telly again in about half an hour. Canal Panda or something like that. Excellent. I recommend Bluey. Have you seen the Australian kids program called Bluey?
No.
Oh, Carl, find it. When you finished here, go find Bluey and watch it with your daughter. And you may well watch them back to back. Because they're so great. The Aussie humour, and there's lovely touching parts to it. Touching parts? No. There are some lovely touching moments in this particular program. How rude of me not to introduce you to each other, but you already have common ground. Carl, meet Veronica. Veronica, meet. No, I need to move you that way. If you're
That's right, because it's backwards. I'm trying to do the Brady Bunch thing.
Try again. Oh. Hello. There we go. All right, well done. That was a high five almost there. Well done, everybody.
Chat about a few minutes ago saying say hi to Veronica. So I'm like,
oh really? So everyone knows Veronica. Yeah.
So is Carl the one at Coldwell Banker also?
Yes, he's your man.
Yeah.
He's your man.
Which Coldwell Banker are you at?
I'm gonna guess now it's the one that you were at, Coldwell Banker Luxus.
Luxus, yeah. I was with Luxus. I was with the Crazy Fun International team. And Mark was on my team.
How about that? How about that? And Carl is a fairly recent recruit, and that's part of his charm and wonder here, because there she is. Oh, bless. It's Indie Portugal Thursday, and starting business in Portugal. So he's got that angle as well. Starting a new livelihood in Portugal. If anybody wants to know about that, we can go on that angle as well. Do you need to go, Carl? Are you all right? We're fine. We're fine if you're fine.
Just stay in your room for the next 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, okay, Daddy, no problem. There you go.
Yeah, but it's she probably thinks it was 20 or 30. When you're a kid, 20 or 30 minutes. Oh, it must be 20 or 30 minutes. I'm just going to get up and about. Yeah. Yes. Bless her. We wish her very well for today, and a nice little restful day off school, and then maybe back tomorrow. So lots of love to your household at this difficult time, but a nice day watching telly nonetheless. Carl, so what's new then? You're helping a lot of people, and Veronica, are you happy to stay with us for the?
Of course, no. This is super fun because I want to learn more. Like, if he's from Great Britain and did real estate there, this gazumping thing is so weird too. Gazump, they don't do it here, thank goodness.
Well, I didn't do real estate in the UK. I was in kind of retail sales there, but the gazumping thing, in the UK, that's something. Yeah, it's not very nice, and I'm glad they don't do it here. It's a very different market in that regards.
Other challenges here, right? Yeah,
certainly other challenges, no doubt about that. But
okay.
Yeah, not that one,
Well, we've struck up a brilliant connection here this morning. So Algarve, Lisbon, you are connected now for referrals. There you go. Carl, a lot of your business at the moment, by the sound of it. Oh, good, hello. A lot of your business.
Live studio, no problem.
I love it. All of life is here, and that's what's so wonderful. We're organic, free range. It's all good here on the Good Morning Portugal show. A lot of your time and energy finding people rentals in the capital, right? There is such a demand. How's it going? Are you managing to help people?
Yeah, I'm managing to help people. It's not easy. I'm sure most of the people who are watching this know if they know anything about rentals. If you're on Facebook and you're sort of following people who are trying to find places to live, it is incredibly difficult to find a place right now. And there's sort of no sign that it's letting up. Properties go on the market. I don't know, say they're listed at 9 a.m. and by midday, the agent wants to take it off because they've just been inundated with calls. So there's definitely a shortage of rental stock. Where I am, I operate a lot in Lisbon, a little bit in Cascais and Margin Sul, sort of, where I live in Aroeira.
Yes,
but I think it's probably countrywide. I imagine the shortage of housing stock, for rentals, So it's tough. It's a tough game at the minute for sure.
Yeah, but you're getting results. And it's so difficult for people as well with their D7.
Yes,
they're over there, aren't they, in America? And they're
you need that 1-year contract because they changed it this year from 6 months to a year. And it's the year that nobody wants to give away. They want to rent in the 8 months to, for the non-tourist season. So they want to give you an 8-month rental and then get out, right? But then that's left so many people homeless during the most expensive part. So we had a lot of people that came over on the D7 here in the South, and they had those 8-month contracts. So I think it's good that it's now a year because in the summer months for 4 months, they were going to 3 or 4 different homes, Airbnbs going up north, and they were like homeless for 4 months. So I think it's better because it's going to force people to do these full annual contracts. In addition to that, the new AL laws, right? So with the new AL laws that came out, maybe that'll force people that are renting, in residential locations to maybe do an annual lease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. That could free up some more stock. But it's difficult for people because if you're in the States right now or the UK and you're looking to come over here, depending on when your dates are, you've got that sort of difficult decision to make of when you're going to or when you want to start that lease. Do you sort of take the risk of leaving it very close to when your SEF appointment is, or do you sort of do it a few months before, sometimes 5 or 6 months before, just to know you've got the place, you're all stamped, sealed, ready to go for that SEF appointment. So that's a balancing act for a lot of people, and that's what we try to do.
You're moving to another country, pay those 4 or 5 months. Listen to Carl. He's out there, he sees the market. I think this is the biggest disconnect with people looking, is that they need to realize if Carl finds you something and it's okay, just take it, because people are so unrealistic that I want balconies and I want all this space and I want all these things. And it's like, hey, he's found you a 12-month rental with heating and air conditioning and a bathroom. Just get it. When you're here, then figure out something else.
I mean, the way I try to work it, I always, it's a time sensitive kind of thing. So I always try to find people what they want. I always start the search with, what are the key sort of parameters? What are the things that you must have? If you say I must have a balcony or it's highly desirable, then I will push towards that. That's okay if you've got a few months spare. As the clock ticks away, and perhaps your SEF appointment is getting closer, people do get a little bit more desperate and they're more willing then to sort of trade away some of those requirements, and I always say to them, look, it may not be perfect, but often you're going to stay there for maybe on average a year. We know we can cancel the contracts after, 1/3 of the contract plus 120 days. So on average, you're going to be there a year. So even if it's not perfect, it's not the longest time. Get yourself over here, get that visa, and then you can start your life here and perhaps look for that next move, which may be another rental, somewhere in Lisbon or even elsewhere in the country, or maybe jump onto making the purchase. That's what a lot of people are doing. Getting here, settling in, and then thinking, right, okay, I know where I want to be now. Let's go and buy something, So
I think we can all agree on that strategy, can't we?
It's a perfect strategy. And then this is where I have to chime in and say, from the loyalty thing, if you've used Carl for your rental and you like him, use him for your purchase too. It's so important because he'll invest so much time in finding you rental, and where he'll really make, kind of the payback for all his time and all his efforts is in the purchase. So if you've used him, stick with him, don't kind of think, oh, I know you kind of do this or that, or I'm just going to go start knocking doors everywhere. Stay loyal. That's my biggest thing, is stay loyal. He's
I agree 100% on that point.
No, I would as well. Now, if people want to get in touch with you, they're thinking, I am so desperate to get a rental in Lisbon or somewhere else in the country. Am I able to give you a WhatsApp number, Carl, or is there a different way of getting in touch with you?
Give my number out. Yeah, no problem.
That's the one. Is that the one ending in 051?
Now, I've only had the number for 6 months, so just let me.
Because I don't want to be giving out a WhatsApp number for a little old lady in Portugal who suddenly gets 10,000. Are you renting apartments? No, I don't know what happened. So
051. Put the number out there, no problem. Anybody's got any queries? Like I say, I mainly, most of what I do day to day is in Lisbon. I do operate as far, say, west as Cascais. I helped a few people find houses there. And also across the Setúbal, So well, I'm always most happy just to help out and give advice wherever you're looking. No problem.
Is Leanne still doing like Estoril and Cascais too, or she moved away completely from the rental market?
No, Leanne does still do some of the rental stuff, but she's definitely migrated more into sales now. She's definitely built a strong network of clients. So she's doing very well. But she did all the hard work, and that's kind of where I am now. She did that.
She built the model where you.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard doing rentals. There's a lot of dead ends. There's a lot of wasted time. I'll say wasted time. It's not really the correct term, really, but there's a lot of dead ends that, so you go somewhere. I've been to places where you're looking at a property and the current tenants there. This happened to me a few weeks ago, and they said, the landlord's already rented this to somebody else. You know that. What? And the agent's looking at me, and I'm looking now like I've wasted my morning now. The agent didn't know, apparently. So there's a lot of stuff like that. So it's a lot of work in the background that people perhaps don't see and perhaps understand. But it's not just a case of, go on Idealish to find a place and then, send the bill to the client. It's
well said.
Sure.
It's not
well, and be careful with that too. So I have to chime in. One of the things people do is they'll go on Idealish and they'll say, I like this property, and they'll send the agent a message versus going direct to you. Now, if you bring a client to one of their properties, they'll say, oh, this is my client. I registered them because they sent them an email about any other property. So don't do that. Like, you can go to Idealish and kind of look around, but then call Carl, for that whole Lisbon. Call him, text him. Don't fill out that little form, or you get these people that are just like, They just register everybody and then just go, oh, that's my client when you come to
the place. Back to something that I was watching the show before I came on live. Find yourself. I'm effectively. I'm a buying agent. Obviously I sell property as well. I'm a buying agent, and I guess you could call it a renting agent. Find somebody who you trust, somebody who's been recommended to you. I think it's a service that really is worthwhile, because the feedback I get from a lot of clients before they come to me is they're sending emails, they're making phone calls. They may get to speak to an agent, but the agent never calls them back. They don't return calls after that. So if you're going to use someone like myself or one of my colleagues, we sort of know the ways in kind of thing, a way to get in and make that connection, because that's what it's all about. I mean, particularly in rentals, it's a different business model to buying and selling. Everybody wants to buy and sell, so any slight interest and they're right on it. When it comes to rentals, if you've got 50 calls in the first morning, then you're pick of the bunch. So it's my job to make my clients look the best. That I try to make them number one, and I have to say I'm pretty good at it as well. So
yeah,
very
it's
good.
good. And in that presentation, saying, look, I've got Americans that are coming in. They have a guaranteed pension, or a British, or whoever. They have a guaranteed pension. There's 2 of them, not 20. Things that would actually be illegal to disclose in America. But you can here say, it's just one couple. I know you've got a lovely 4-bedroom place, but it's one couple. It's not going to be destroyed.
It is nice preparation. Get them to write a short bio, why they love the country, why they're coming here. Get all the documents ready, get copies of their passports, say proof of income, so that maybe that be pay slips, or we call it a pension in the UK. I think it's Social Security in the US. Get all those documents ready so that when I do speak to an agent, I'm ready to just go, here, my client is this, they're financially secure, they usually are the professionals, or they were professionals, before they retired. Make them very appealing and make it an easy choice. And doing that, I find I'm quite good at getting people that foot in the door. Once you've got the foot in the door, then you can use, the client especially can use their charm, and, sort of grease the wheel kind of thing. It's getting your foot in the door. That's the hardest part. Once you're in there, then, we have a high success rate for sure.
Well, and then the other thing is using that same information to convert an 8-month rental into an annual rental. That's what we've been doing down here with some locals, because there was no rentals for the Americans I'm talking to. I talked to my neighbor who knew everybody and said, go get rentals. Just go get rentals, sign up with any agency, go get rentals and get them out there for us. And so they're converting with that pre-qualification information, 8-month rentals into annuals, right? Because you have to make the market. If the market doesn't exist, if there are no annual rentals, you have to make them exist. So my guy next door knows everybody, his wife, a sister with the mayor, and the runs, they're in the principal of a school. And, I said, come sit next to me and see how this works, and just start calling all these rental agents. And they're like, hi, Joe, hi, Anna. And so it's then taking that next step and going, okay, now let's talk to everybody and explain to them why they want an annual rental versus an 8-month. Because even in the summer, you think they have to keep churning every week. You can have a family of, 8 or 10 that comes in and destroys your property. You've got to get it cleaned.
Right now, a lot of people are asking for more than 1 year. Probably on average, I'm doing a 2-year rental. Some want 3. But the way I kind of explain that to my clients is a 3-year rental really only ties you in for 16 months at most, and that's not really that much time. A lot of people, probably half of my clients are not actually in Portugal at this time. It's something that they're moving here in 3 or 4 months. So by the time you get here, you're going to have 12 months in this place. That's enough time to acclimatize, get a feel for the place, try, all the different neighborhoods, find out where you want to live, and then you can start the process of buying or renting somewhere else. So it's really, when you think about it, when you sort of stack it all up, it's not something that's really a problem to do a longer lease.
Carl, I signed a 3-year lease in the house we're in at the moment, and I thought this is the most grown-up thing I've ever done. I've been in Portugal 4 years, and why on earth would I sign up for 3 years to be in one place? We want to go traveling and looking around, and it was sign it or don't sign it, and we wanted to move in here. So we did it. Over 11 months of 13 months have passed now. And you're so right. It just seems like a long time, but it does pass by very fast, and it is nice to have a stable base and that security of 3 years if you need it. And of course, 16 months, as you point out. And this again is why you need somebody working on your side like Carl, possibly Veronica. Also, Antonio, who's with us this morning. Sherry is saying this is a much needed conversation. Thank you so much for these connections and advice. Thank you, Sherry, for saying that. We've got a couple of questions as well from Stephen. But I want to say, somebody mentioned strong connections, didn't they? And look, we have got this great network developing here. You've got Veronica in the picture there. You've got Carl in the picture there. These are regular co-hosts now on the show to be here every month to talk to you with this advice. And Tony Time, Antonio Barbosa in the north as well. Now, the much loved, best kept secret of the north. So Tony's joining us on the first Tuesday, I believe, of every month. So this network, as you say, is much needed. And you're very welcome, Sherry, for us creating these connections and this advice that's going out on the Good Morning Portugal show. So let's go to those questions then for you, Carl. And you might want to chime in, Veronica, as you put it on with these as well. First question. Oh, actually, it's a bit of advice, I think, from Dr. Wells about your daughter. If she seems fine, send her back up the chimney. I think that's changed a bit. That's that style of parenting, Stephen. Your next serious and proper question, Carl, can the contract be cancelled after that time limit by either side? So there you go. You mentioned the 16 months. What else can be done in terms of cancellations to put people's mind?
No, I mean that's going to be your right to cancel. You know, and I would also say it's not uncommon for people to approach their landlords after 4-6 months and say, look, it's not what I wanted, or I've decided to move to a different place. And then you can come to an agreement privately with the landlord. You know, I mean, if you approach them and if you're upfront and honest, most of them are, you know, decent human beings. And maybe you can come to a compromise. If you're thinking, look, I don't want to be here for 16 months. I've decided I want to move to Porto from Lisbon and I want to go now. Or maybe you can sort of say, look, can we come to an agreement where, you know, I'll forfeit a couple of months rent. I'll stay here until you find another client. Sort of work with them, and you know, there's always a way. You know, just as long as you're upfront and honest, and you know, coming from it at that kind of front.
And you might find somebody from this community who wants to move straight into it, right?
Right.
Listen, that happens a lot. Yeah, people say, listen, I'll take that place. So you sort of swap one client for another, or they do it privately. You know, perhaps they don't need me to do that, but you've got those connections. If you're working around in the expat community, you know there's always somebody looking for somewhere to live, and if you've got a place, they will bite your fingers up for it, for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Have a network. But definitely don't go in thinking that, like, I'm going to get a year contract and I'm just going to bust it at 3 months.
Absolutely right.
Earn that annual lease for the next person, the next American or Brit coming in, is that then that person renting is like, you've had 2 people in, they burn the contract after 3 months. We're not doing, they'll tell all their friends. The Portuguese community is small. We're not renting to Americans or British anymore because you're going to come in and bust the contract. So do go in, like you're saying, and
don't use that intention, but for sure, just by the very nature of people coming from another country and with the best intentions, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into, what you're starting. You get here, you think. Most people say, listen, I'm here, I'm in Lisbon, I'm happy, I've got my lease. But you do get a few people who say, actually, I want to be further up the coast. I want to be in Foz do Aurélio or, you know, Porto. So it does happen, you know, because it's all new. It's a very new thing. You've never experienced it before. So it's just an option. But yeah, you're right. You know, don't go into it with that intention. That's not the best way to start that relationship with your landlord, for sure.
Well said. Antonio chipping in from the north. Have a network of realtors that you can trust to partner with, and you'll have properties to offer before they're visible to the general market. That's a great insight as well. Thank you, Antonio. Looking forward to a bit of Tony time in November. And Veronica will be a regular guest on a GMP. That's great, says Jean from New Jersey as well. I think like in the American connection there. Superb. Would you believe it? It's 1 minute to 10. I think you've got children's TV to watch, Carl, soon. But can we try? We've got dad jokes for you, which will be great for your daughter. Maybe, I'm not sure. So can we try a few of these out on you as we end the show today, and as we look forward to your residency and you both coming back again next month? Don't be strangers, though. You know, if you're tuned in between now and then and you've got things to say or you want to jump on quickly, please do that. And of course, we'll find other ways to connect you to our community here, of course. But certainly, we can look forward to you being here in your official residency again on the, what is it, the third? It is the third Thursday, isn't it? The Quinta, third Thursday. So let's finish today then. We didn't really look at that property, did we? The Rossio Palace. Maybe we'll have to do that next time if it's still on the market.
Can you maybe put the link up, because Mart is amazing.
Yeah, I will put the link up. It's the Rossio Palace, and it is 280K. I thought it'd be sort of 2 million or something.
Well, the thing is, I'll give if I can, just a very quick. It's a golden visa opportunity. So most golden visa opportunities are €500,000. This, because it's in a low density area and it's a historic renovation, it's reduced until the end of this year, when the EU wants to harmonise the golden visa rules and financial investment required. So for a limited time, for €280,000, you can invest in this project, which is a deluxe. It will be a deluxe hotel. The project they begin early in next year. It's a 2-year project, and it's to develop a luxury hotel. I
see. You don't live here. What you get your golden visa from this. I've got you. Okay, it's beautiful, isn't it?
And how many investors will they have? How many total investors?
I think there's going. I don't know all the details. I need to speak with my colleague Marta. So I believe they're looking for 50 investors. I think it is, but I would have to clarify that.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I know they've already sold a lot of plots. These are rendered images, by the way. That's their original images. This is the original site.
Wow. It's like the lift shaft. I mean, it's just incredible. Even that's behind the scenes. That's those azaleja tiles and that old metalwork. That looks fantastic.
They've taken a lot of that away, and they're going to put that back into the finished product. So they're saying some of that original quality. So yeah, I mean, it's a different investment from what a lot of people are looking for. Most people are coming here on D7 visas, but if you're looking for a golden visa opportunity, you know, this is certainly an option. You know, without having to spend $500,000, you can spend 280,000, and then, you know, you're on the road to getting European or Portuguese citizenship in 6 years. And obviously the freedom to travel the Schengen zone, all these kind of things. It's a great opportunity.
And be a part owner in that beautiful residence there. Fantastic. Absolutely. Okay. After my guests have gone this morning, everybody, I will be doing the Yogi Berra quotes of the day and the Cue This and the God Squad tip of the day. I think we're gonna have to have a longer show. It's a bit like getting a bigger boat, isn't it? This is the jaws of live streaming. We're gonna have to get a bigger show. So I will. 5 minutes late. No, it's really not a problem. But you're not going anywhere until we've done these with you. Okay. So do you like to inflict a dad joke from time to time on your daughter?
Occasionally. Yeah.
And does she have you got no dad shirts as well? Did you hear about that? When you put a shirt on, no dad, you can't wear that one. That's something we've learned this morning. Your daughter will certainly move into saying that to you, I'm sure. Okay. I'm sure. So here are a few more this morning. We're going to put you on big screen, and just so we can see the look on your face. You can try and front it out and not laugh if you want, Carl Hyde, our Englishman in Lisbon. So let's try this on you now. I told my wife, this is good, to embrace her mistakes, so she gave me a hug.
That sounds familiar to me.
It's just painfully true. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's just true.
No, I finally laughed at one.
What's made of leather and sounds like a sneeze? A shoe.
Very good.
Little chuckle there. Your daughter's going to love that. And I saw a baguette in a cage at the zoo. It was bred in captivity.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I'm trying my hardest not to laugh.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. You're going to be top dad as you re-enter the domestic bliss behind you this morning. No dad shirts. And look at this, or a sign at the door. Antonio is saying happy Thursday, Carlito, and right back at you, igualmente, Antonio. Nice to meet you, Veronica and Carl. Abrazo from the Minho region, home of Vinho Verde. Everybody, smash that like
Vino Grino. That's what I was trying to say. Vino Verde is Vino Grino.
Of course.
Green wine, Verde,
green wine, fresh.
Vino Verde, green wine.
It's a yeah. Thank you, Antonio. Antonio spotted that long before I did. Of course, he would. On the side of the coin, renting. On the other side of the coin, renting is dead money, and property in Portugal is still going up fast. Longer you leave it, the more it'll cost you to buy the property. So is Paul saying buy it, don't rent it, just get it, buy it, because you can always move it on. Maybe, I don't know. Thank you, Paul, for that though. Boaz, good morning to you. Where in the south is Veronica? Would be useful to know. VRSA, right?
Villarreal de Santo Antonio.
Yes, and talking of
far
Sant
south
Antonio,
and the far east.
Named after this gentleman, I believe. Sant Antonio, always have legal representation to prepare rental lease agreement. We know real estate, they know law. Well said, Antonio. Great advice. Too bad T-Duck never met Yogi. That would have been epic. It would, wouldn't it? T-Duck and Yogi Berra in the same room. Well, Veronica, Carl. Too kind. You've been very, very great on your debut this morning in your official debut for your residencies. Have great days, both of you.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I hate
doing this.
Thank you, the Carls.
So you're in a Carl sandwich this morning. Hello, lovely. Get well soon. Ash melhoras. Ciao, ciao. Daddy's got some jokes for you. All right. I hate to do this, but I've got to put you off the screen. Bye. See ya. And you, Veronica. See you soon. Ciao, ciao. There they go. Wasn't that fabulous today? Joao F is here, just popping in to say hello to everybody. If you need the details of either Veronica or Carl, I'll make sure they get up on the Good Morning Portugal website. And you know my number. I can always put you in touch with either of them. Sounds like fun. I've got, hi, Dad, it's your first son to me as well. It's Bring Your Kids to Work Day today. The old Lurcher Greyhound is just having a stretch. Might need to take him out in a minute. Don't want him doing a whoopsie in the studio, do we? Let's go back then to the wisdom and the athletic tips of the day this morning for us God Squad athletes, growing old disgracefully. Ian came in first, though, with this. And it was a 4-duck rating. Has that improved or decreased, T-Duck? Where was his weather forecast? I personally think we developed language in this Lily Tomlin quote because of our deep need to complain. That might be true. When we were kind of not speaking and before we developed language, maybe we're just wandering about in an awestruck state. And then language came so we could say, me. I don't know. Maybe that was the first noise humans made. Me. Maybe not. God Squad tip of the day then, to celebrate arrival in Portugal. Oh, he's here, and he will be here tomorrow with Phil. I am getting a nudge from the Lurcher. To celebrate arrival in Portugal, we opened a very nice bottle of Dura Red last night. That's why I'm passionate about staying healthy, to enjoy the finer things in life. Is that your tip of the day? Open a bottle of red. We'll go with that. Thank you very much. All right, mate. We'll take you out in a minute. Cue this then from James from yesterday. Oh, sorry. What you are comes to you. How about that from Ralph Waldo Emerson, RWE? I think it's true. That's a bit of a law of attraction stuff there, isn't it? Weather report from Tida. Mais dia úmido e selvagem em Lisboa, tempo de pato. So more duck weather in a wet and wild Lisbon this morning. Yogi Berra quote of the day. I'd give my right arm to be ambidextrous. Hey! And a deep thought of the day. Robert Hunter again. We're getting some good value from Robert C. Christie Hunter from the Grateful Dead, lyricist of the Grateful Dead. In wickedness of pride is lost the light to understand how little grace is earned and how much is given. Are these from songs, T-Duck, as well? I think there's some Grateful Dead fans saying, yeah. In wickedness of pride is lost the light to understand how little grace is earned and how much is given. The Grateful Dead. And Robert C. Christie Hunter there. Thank you. Portuguese saying of the day. Then a little bit of Portuguese. Try this on a Portuguese friend or in a shop. Maybe. Let's find out what it means first. Se caçares, não te gabes. Se não caçares, não te enfadas. If you hunt, do not boast. If you don't hunt, don't get bored. Maybe you shouldn't try that in the cafe because they will just think you're some sort of pseudo-intellectual as you sip on your espresso, having uttered that. I think that just about does it all for us this morning. Bon dia, Carl and GuMPer from a very wet Albufeira. Another weather check from the Algarve. It's rained a little yesterday, 45 minutes. I think the first rain you've seen in the Algarve in 27 years of visiting. That's amazing, Deagle. 27 years and no rain for you anyway while you're on holiday. I do apologize if there's anyone I've missed this morning. It's been great to have Veronica here and to have Carl here. And I'm sorry to you if I didn't see you and weren't able to acknowledge you on the screen. Do come again tomorrow. We'll do it all again. And ladies, remember, it's the gents who have been stepping up and helping out with a bit of funding for the show. Look at them all there. James, Phil, Darren, Jean, Jeff, and Eric J. If you want to be the first lady to support the show, and there are lots of ways of doing it, go to goodmorningportugal.com. And if you click on our support invest button, you'll understand a bit more of the backstory of what we're trying to do here. Guest tomorrow on Feel Good Friday, this gentleman, nice mattock. No, but he's got a shovel there, and he's creating drainage. Who doesn't like to create drainage first thing in the morning? That's Phil, who will be joining us tomorrow with Ian of the God Squad, and we'll be talking about fitness for mind, body, and spirit tomorrow morning on the Feel Good Friday here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Tonight, talking of accommodation, we will be talking to Gilda, our pal Gilda, who we talked to on Migration Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the evening on the Expats Portugal channel. A free event tonight. You'll need to sign up for this at Expats Portugal. Need accommodation for your visa? Find out everything you need to know on a call tonight as well. We're doing everything we can to help you folks find accommodation here, and we've got such a great network, have we not? And if you want to get priority access to the Expats Portugal stuff, do please use my link. That's another way of getting the kids fed as well. We've got an affiliate link with Expats Portugal there. Please use that. Will Thompson's in, just in. Yay, some people to talk to. Are you living quite a hermit life at the moment? Oh, talking of meetups as well, Vancouver, BC, Portugal bound meetup in the works. Oh, I see, as in process, in formation. If you're here or near, let's get together, maybe at Nando's. Let me know. That'll be with Suze. I can facilitate that as well. I think that just about does it. Apart from a video, which I promised you yesterday, of Andy cycling along Mira Beach up in Aveiro. Desculpa. Muito lamento if I did miss you or anything you've sent in, but we'll be here again doing it tomorrow. We've got a couple of vids then of Andy seeing some dancing. The Festa season does continue in Portugal, certainly up in Central. He picked up his folks. Mike, it was Mike's happy 80th birthday. Shout out to you, Mike. And it looks like you had a great time. Picked up from the airport and chanced upon some dancing, which we'll show you now. And Andy first, though, riding along at Mira. This is one of those lesser-known beaches of Portugal.
Bom dia.
Bom dia, people.
Well,
yeah, here in Mira. Nice beach.
Oh, now. Ciao, Bellas.
Ciao Bella, she says. I was wondering how he captures those videos. He's cycling along one-handed on the Calçadas by the beach. Crazy fool. Stop it, Andy. And this is what you saw. You picked up your folks from the airport to celebrate the birthday, the big birthday, Mike's 80th. And you saw this as you were driving along. It's 20th of October. Festa season continues in Portugal.
Yes, they are, sir.
Abraço e beijo na boca, é isso que a mulher quer. Eu para mim quero cerveja, mas quem há de sair do bar? Hoje eu quero a tristeza bem longe deste lugar. O chão vai tremer, o bicho...
Mike getting in the party spirit there for his 80th birthday celebrations. Nothing is going to stop Portuguese people partying. It's getting into winter. It was quite dark and overcast there, but still they're dancing in Portugal, in central Portugal. And I did say, didn't I, that I would share that video that Veronica very carefully made for us. We did show it at the beginning. I think it's right to show it again as a lovely way of saying goodbye today. And also, muito prazer. If you would join us for the first time today, do come again. It's been a lot of fun. And you might see yourself in this video. Ciao for now. See you tomorrow. But putting the sex in sexta-feira tomorrow.
Cheers, friends. We're at the Cafe Latte Terrace having a fun little ladies' lunch. And they have something fun to say.
Good morning, Portugal, from the Americans in the Algarve. And Daniela, our favorite server. We love you. Yes, we love Daniela.
Rain, didn't keep them away. Still a good place for shopping. Middle of October, when people say places that are shut down in winter. This isn't one because it's a real town. This is a real town. And that, Carabella, is one of my favorite stores. The owner is one of my neighbor's best friends. And so now I'm off to one of our favorite spots, Cafe Latte. Oh, some shopping along the way. Shopping, shopping. Empty food place. Oh, Carabella's getting ready for their Christmas store. It's October. This is going to be the Christmas store. Ah, such a nice breeze. It's actually, I'm hot walking. And here we are going. Are my girls there? Are my girls there? Nope. Oh, I think we're to meet upstairs. I always love this bike. How cute is this? Hola, boa tarde. Oh, bom dia. Bom dia. Tudo bem? Oh yeah, going upstairs. Mind the steps. Again, the British English. Mind. Be aware. Be careful. Mind the steps. I hear somebody. I hear some people. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How are you? How's it going? Hi friends, welcome to one of our favorite places, the terrace at Cafe Latte. This is upstairs, the terrace. And we're having a little ladies' lunch today. They have something special to tell you today.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GuMPer morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GuMPer. Hey, GuMPers.